Right now, state and local leaders standing behind their immigration policies as the Trump administration sues them.
The DOJ has now filed a lawsuit claiming that certain policies in our state interfere with federal immigration enforcement. One of the cities named in that lawsuit is New Haven, and that's where we find your reporter Anna Stansfield live this morning. So Anna, how is the mayor reacting to this?
Yeah, well, we were able to talk to Mayor Justin Elicker pretty quickly after this news broke, and he was fairly blunt with us about this situation. He tells us he feels like this lawsuit is untruthful and also tells us he plans to fight it with everything he has. The lawsuit specifically names the city of New Haven and Mayor Justin Elicker, targeting the Elm City's welcoming city order, which bans city workers from helping ICE unless an agent has a warrant, something the mayor says is legal and in place to make the community feel safer. The lawsuit also names the governor and the attorney general, citing issues with the state's Trust Act. That act prevents local and state law enforcement officers from carrying out federal immigration activities. The DOJ says both of these policies interfere with ICE agents' ability to do their job. Mayor Elicker, though, says he won't stand for this.
We're going to fight this lawsuit with all we got. The complaint that's been submitted by the federal government has untruths in it and is misleading.
And it's also important to note Connecticut isn't alone here. The DOJ has filed similar lawsuits against major cities, including Los Angeles, New York City, and Boston. I'm your reporter live in New Haven, Anna Stansfield, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Anna, thank you.